Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 167 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-hosts,
George Breden,
James Fitzgerald,
and Brian Jennette.
In a world where shelf space no longer exists, one convention stands above them all. 70,000 plus gamers, hundreds of publishers, more cardboard than should legally fit inside one building. This is Gencon 2026. In this episode, we're previewing the biggest releases, the surprises, and the games that might have everyone sprinting across the exhibit hall floor on Thursday morning. So gather your game group, grab your dice, and let the cardboard adventures begin. Enjoy the show. Random question, as always. In spirit of the World Cup that is going on, let's talk about your least favorite theme in a board game.
Can I go first?
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, we are going to discuss that, but I thought it was funny.
How dare you?
That's funny.
All right, yeah, sure, Brian. What's your least favorite?
Sports. That would require me to go outside, and that's just not happening. No, I'm just kidding. I'm never really a huge sports guy, so skateboarding, yes. Outside of that, not too much.
No, that's fair. Mine is sports as well. But there's not a whole lot of themes. I think I could guess George is because he, I think, said it on the past podcast, which is fantasy.
Well, I like fantasy. I just don't like D&D fantasy.
Like generic, like you like Game of Thrones is okay.
Specifically D&D.
Oh, specifically Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, you weren't brought up in it probably.
No, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't like bugbears, and I don't like kobolds.
What about
I don't
mind flayers?
Yeah, none of that stuff. I don't like any of that stuff. But I do like fantasy, like fairy tale kind of fantasy with dragons, and I don't know. It's just a strange thing. But I wouldn't have picked that actually. I would have said self-reference, like games about shelfies, stuff like that.
Harken back to it. Inner joke. You mean you don't like the break the fourth wall type of themes?
Yeah, no, games about board games. Yeah, I don't like that.
So you didn't like Essen, the board game?
I've never played it, but I don't think I would.
What about you, James?
I don't know why, but I just don't like Cthulhu games. I mean, Manchester Madness is a good game, but if I saw Cthulhu pasted on something, I'm like, offended. I know. Yeah. It's not that I hate it. It's like, meh. If I see a Cthulhu game, I probably won't try it out unless somebody's like, "This is so awesome," then I'll try it out. But I don't know why. It just feels like a generic. I know it's because it's not. They don't have to pay for it if they put it on there, and that's why it's so easy to put Cthulhu on games. But
I think it's really popular too. I mean, I would say a lot of people feel the same way about zombies, right?
Yeah,
like zombies is a very generic thing, but anybody can use it, and everybody's familiar with it.
But I think one thing with the Cthulhu theme, all the H.P. Lovecraft stuff has a lot of lore, and most people that do it justice and actually read into the lore and try to incorporate it. So it is fairly consisant versus tentacle face. Let's put him in a box. You know what I mean? At least they actually do attempt.
I read the first book and it was terrible. It was boring and just,
it's not your style.
No,
it's pretty much what it boils down to.
I mean, I did like Fate of the Elder Gods, which is it's an area control game, which is pretty good. But
I haven't played it yet.
It's actually really good. But you're playing the monsters instead of the investigators or whatever, and you're trying to keep your followers on the board. But it's just one of those ones that just doesn't get me excited. I see Cthulhu, I'm like,
I'm with you.
I would pass it by.
Yep.
I mean, I don't hate it, but
no, I get what you're saying. Yeah. And it's odd too. Like, I don't really dislike sports games because there are some themes. There are like sports games I enjoy, I like racing stuff. It's not my favorite style of game, but I would much rather play something that's more like Twisted Metal style of racing where you're shooting missiles at each other, gas lands or whatever, as opposed to like Formula Day. But
that's fair. I will retool my answer. In board gaming, I don't particularly like sports themes, but I don't mind them so much in video games. like basketball, sometimes soccer, that kind of stuff, hockey, that fits better in that thematic, very fast action based. But when you're doing gaming, it's slowed down enough where I think some of it would get lost.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, cool. That was a quick random question. So this episode, we're going to talk about games that are being showcased. It's our games preview for Gencon 2026. Now, here's the interesting thing about that. There are hundreds of games that come out or not even come out, but are showcased at Gencon every year. In this case, we are using Board Game Geek's website under the Gencon 2026 preview. This has 600 titles at the time that we recorded this, but it doesn't mean that all these games are being released at Gencon. Quite the contrary. I think at least a third of them are demos, and a third of them have came out in 2026, with some of them even coming out before that. However, I just completely forgot, so I'm going to re-say some of this. I'm going to talk about one thing before we get into the Gencon preview, though, and that's because I went to Charcon 2026, a different convention, and I didn't want to forget about this because it's such a great convention to highlight. It's in Charleston, West Virginia, and this was its 21st year. For many years now, I don't know, 2018, 2019, it's been at the Clay Center, which is effectively like a science center / theater, like performance theater. So one side is a science center and the other side's a theater. It's held in the theater part, like in the lobby and upstairs. The layout is wonky, honestly. It's really hard to know where to go. You don't just walk in and see everything. You see all the vendors, but then you have to go up on like a balcony to play games or another balcony to play other games, and the tournaments and random rooms and stuff. And the flea market's on the stage of the theater. The VIP stuff is way in the back in the dressing rooms and such, which is kind of neat to be able to go back there and be in the dressing rooms while you're eating food and playing games, which is, a cool experience. But it is really just thrown everywhere in that building, which is fine simply because it's a great place to have a convention. And we played a bunch of play to wins and different things like that. But I think I wanted to highlight a couple of things that makes this thing unique. One, being in the Clay Center is really nice if you go with a family, because we were able to go and do the science center part. They have like a water area. They have like a climbing thing, like a little fake town that you can go through, the kids. Really, really fun, especially on Sunday when you're kind of burnt out of playing games and the library closes a little bit early and things like that. So like you're kind of waiting around for a few hours before they do the drawings, and they have like a raffle area where you put tickets in different boxes to try to win some stuff, which we won something, which is kind of neat. It's like a fairy stepping stone for your garden. They put all kinds of stuff on this table, by the way. You buy all, like tickets and just drop them in the buckets. But it's a cool experience. The thing that makes it really unique too with families, in addition to that, is they have a kid area where you can basically drop your kid off. Asterisks. You can be like, hey, we're going to play this game and it's about an hour. Okay, cool. We'll watch them. They watch them for an hour, right? You don't want to go in there and drop your kid off for 8 hours or something stupid. But if you want to get a game in that is a little bit more intense on thinking or whatnot, they have this cool little area where the kids can craft or play with Legos or play with cars and things like that. Obviously, I don't know what the age limit is, but it's definitely like a 10 and under room. Any kid or kid that's like 10 or higher is probably going to sit with you and be okay, either to read a book, play a tablet, or actually play the games with you. So it's not necessary for older children, but for young kids like a 3-year-old, it was awesome. We used it a couple of times. We didn't overstay our welcome when it came to that, and it was just really nice to be able to go to a convention and not have to worry about, number one, paying for daycare because it's provided as the con, and number two, just have that resource available to play. The VIP is really nice. We did the VIP. You get like free meals and snacks. You can go in there and just kind of relax or play games in the VIP area. So it's very, very cool convention. If you're familiar with like smaller conventions, at least in our area, whatever, like Lexicon or the now gone Sin City Con or things like that, where it's like 1,000 people ish, right? Those kind of size conventions. This is the similar one. It seems to me like one of my favorites. I mean, it is rivaling the others The location is great, but the space layout is the problem. And it's a really cool convention. So if you've never heard of it and you're anywhere near Charleston, West Virginia, or you don't mind traveling, check that out. It happens around this time every year. And now we're going to get into the Gencon thing, unless somebody else has something you want to say real quick.
Well, what was your favorite game there that you played?
That I played?
Yeah.
Well, I got a few games to the table. It's really interesting. Like I played, here, I'll just run through them real quick. We played Oh My Goods, but I brought that. So we played, I finally got to play, Fromage, physically. I'm still not 100%. I don't know. I don't know about it. I think it's okay.
Great game. I
think it's okay. I mean, it's fine. I think a lot of people do like it. To me, I feel like if I play it a couple more times, I'm going to be like, all right, cool. What's next? He's pointing at it on the shelf. We played some Heroescape, which was kind of neat. Let's see. Market Fresh, played that a bunch, actually. Diatoms. Diatoms is an interesting one.
That's a fun one.
I'm going to go out and say it's a 1 or 2 play for me, and then I don't care about it. Like, to me, it feels like a glorious roll and write that has really high production value. It just isn't a necessary game. Like, it's
a little lighter than you think it is.
It's too light for the crap that you get. You get all these, and it was the version we were playing had all these metallic pieces and stuff. The printing's really metallic, and it really just messed with my eyes. Like, the lighting wasn't really super bright, and it was hard to tell the different colors apart. It's got a cool theme in what you're doing, because you're like taking these like microscopic algae and making like a circular asymmetrical pattern, or you're trying to, because you get points based on the asymmetry the symmetry of your pattern that you build. But every game has like the same 4 scoring things, except the 5th one is like you flip out a card and you can add that in scoring wise, but it just really feels like the same game over and over and over. You know, it's not as deep as you would think it to be. And the way that you get the pieces isn't as restrictive as you would think it to be.
Yeah.
I found
that when we played through it at Gamma, it was very much that same kind of feel.
Yeah. Really pretty. I don't think I would own it. We played a game that is on this list for the Gencon, Spicy Dice, which has been out forever. But dude, that's awesome. That's a great little Yahtzee variant.
Didn't we play that with George?
I'd never played it before then. So you're just rolling 6 dice and you're trying to do Yahtzee stuff, right? Like runs and sets and all that. But on each die, there's a red number. So like one die has a 1, one die has a 2. There's all 6 numbers across the 6 dice. And if you ever roll a red number, you can set it to whatever value you want. But the reds, if you keep them in, it usually doubles your score, or it's, if you go for the reds, it's actually worth 10 points a die. And the other thing that's really cool about it is, like Yahtzee, you can roll up to 3 times, right? Your initial roll plus 2 more. But every roll that you don't use, you get a little token, and you can spend them later when you go next time to re-roll extra times. So you could roll like 6 times in a row if you save your tokens. However, if you keep those tokens, you can only bank 3 forever. But then if you get a 4th or more, instead of getting another token, you actually get 5 points. And so it's like, it's just luck upon luck, but it rewards you for, maybe going out earlier. Be like, well, I could roll one more time to try to get the last 6 or 5 or whatever. But instead, I'll just grab that little token and I can re-roll something better next time or get extra points. You don't even need to buy this game, although I recommend buying it if it sounds awesome. But you just need, 6 black dice with white pips and then color the red ones. And then you got the game. But I'll end up probably picking this up. It's too fun as a filler. And unlike Yahtzee, it's not super long. It's 10 rounds because you have like 1 entry for everything, like 6s and 5s and 4s and sets and whatever. It's all 1 entry. And once you fill out every time you roll, you have to put a 0 or a score on one thing. And then once you fill in all 10 boxes, you're done. Whoever has the most points wins. We played a game called Luminous, which is Luminis, which is about building cathedrals. It sounds like it would be like illuminating or something. But anyway, there's a really big problem I don't like about it, but it's a little card game where it's like Splendor Weight. And you're trying to build the 4th floor of a cathedral, but you're building these different towers. Interesting game. I'd like to play it more, but you discard cards onto these 3 decks in a 2-player game anyway. And it just seems like you're passing cards back and forth a lot because I put cards down where you're like, oh, I'll pick those up. You play them and you put them back down in the pile and then I pick them up. And it's like, you got 3 kind of big decks of cards that you're going through, but you're really just top decking the first 5 in each for most of the game. It's really odd. Should have had an actual discard pile. And there's some other games that we played that, you know, we've played before in the past and some kid games and kind of skipping over all that. But yeah. Otherwise, we just spend a lot of time with friends or whatever that we don't see much except for at conventions. We spent one of the days effectively at that Clay Center science thing, but it was a good convention. It was very relaxing, and I got a lot of games, actually. That's the cooler part. Man, I walked away with some really cool stuff from the flea market, and that, to me, was one of the best things ever, because I bought In the Footsteps of Darwin for like $10 from somebody in Shrink. And I got Planet Unknown Deluxe with the expansion, $20. That's wild.
That's pretty good.
That's absolutely wild. I got Chocolate Factory, $5. Nova Roma for $5. I wasn't going to buy this, but it was $5. I used to own it, but Space Station Phoenix, but he had all 3D inserts in it. And I was like, well, I can't skip on that. And then I ended up winning, Sierra won the HeroScape box that we played. And they gave everybody Hummingbirds, which is an OP game, the OP game that I haven't played it, but we got copies of that. So great convention. It's definitely going to be, especially because of the kid stuff and being in the Clay Center, it's going to be a convention that we just keep on our thing forever. All right, so now we're going to get into the Gencon preview list. As I was saying at the beginning of this episode, this preview list is on Board Game Geek. There are 600 entries at the time that we were recording this. Obviously, we're not going over 600 games, but each of us has we've picked about 10 games apiece and maybe an honorable mention or 2 that we're going to talk about briefly that we're excited about to either demo or play at Gencon or purchase. Because this list is full of games that either have already released, and this is the first big convention that these companies are going to be showing them off at, although arguably some of them are on the Origins list. But I know a lot of people, or they know a lot of people, don't go to both Origins and Gen Con, so they have put them on both lists. So some of these games could have came out a few months ago and been more so previewed at Origins than at Gen Con. Some of these games came out January. So take this with a grain of salt. Just know that this list are games that you will be able to go to Gen Con and either play or demo. That's the whole purpose of this preview list. And so without further ado, I will begin us with the first game on our list of a Gen Con preview here. And that first game is Friendly Fishing, and this is by Gamehead Games. Now, what's interesting is, if you're listening to the podcast, not the video, I just talked about going to Charcon 2026. I actually played this at Charcon, and then as I looked it up, I realized, wait a minute, this is a re-implementation of a game called Tonari, which if you've ever been to an Ollie's, you can definitely acquire. So if you've ever been to an Ollie's, like every Ollie's I've been into has this game on its shelf. I own this game and I never played it. I don't know the differences between Tonari and Friendly Fishing, but I will say it's an interesting game because in the board is just a grid of water spaces that are hexes, right? So it's a hexagonal grid, and in the middle there's an island that has a boat, and you're going to take it on your turn. You just move the boat to an adjacent space and pick up a tile. That's it. At the end of the game, once either the boat can't move, or not either, but when the boat can't move and pick up a tile, the game ends, basically. There's a little bit more to that, but the game will end, and then everybody counts up scores based on what they've got. So like there's different fish that will score, progressive scoring for having more blue fish or red fish or whatever. And then maybe there's special fish that will give you points for having the most of it or whatever. So every fish in the game has its own scoring mechanism that you've already heard a million times from other games. But what's interesting is, and there's also special tiles that will allow you to swap other hexagon or other tiles around. And you're thinking, why would that matter, right? Why would you need to move things around? Because so many players will go before you and the other person, whatever. The interesting thing is at the end of the game, your score is equal to your score plus the player to your left, who's the player that always goes after you. So you're doing things to set them up to be able to get stuff they need because you want them to have a great score, because you want you to have a great score. You just don't want them to have as good a score as you, because if you add them together, that's your actual score. It was really fun. I don't necessarily think this would be one I was going to play a lot with the gamers, right? But it's definitely one that is interesting enough for a family, especially with kids. It says age 10 plus, and Tornari, I believe it said, community said 6. It's a very simple game. And in friendly fishing, I know you can drop out like the special fish if you just want to be a little bit less complicated to play it with younger players. So anyway, that's friendly fishing.
Yeah, I think that's a nice one.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
I've got to send a request.
Do the request. George, give them access.
I've given it.
So my first one is called Gold Country. It's a you're chaining your buildings along a grid, the board, and you're placing them out, getting resources and money and such. But you're also, it's a Reiner Knizia game. I know I'm just bringing that up because he's a very famous designer. And it's also got market manipulation. You have stocks and stuff where you're trying to make sure what stocks you have are worth more at the end than other people's. But it gave me vibes of Gold West, and that's the big reason I'm interested in it. But the stock and the market manipulation part is what kind of brings it down on my list of interests, because I'm not big on that. But like I said, it's the whole Gold West. I don't know if you've all ever played that one.
It actually looked like, at first I thought that's what it was for a moment there.
It is very Gold West looking for sure.
Yeah, and that's what caught my attention. I mean, that immediately I looked into it. I forgot who
the designer was, and I just looked it up. It's
Beth Sobel.
Yeah.
Is the illustrator. Yeah.
Or the designer.
Reiner Knizia.
Yeah, no, I was saying of Gold West. I was like, did he do that? It was just a remake?
No,
but
I don't think he did.
He didn't.
But, and that's all I know about this game right now. So I would love to see a demo of this and see if it's good enough for me to ignore the part I don't like of the market manipulation stuff. It's just not my type of game, but the rest of it is definitely a game that I'd really pique my interest, and that is Gold Country.
Well, if you like Knizia, then I hope you like math.
Yeah.
All right. So my first one is Moitura. It is a area control game for 2 players. It has sort of an action river of tiles that have gods with powers on them. Excuse me. And you select your god. It gives you an ability to manipulate your forces on the map. What I really like about this one, other than the fact that the theme is Ireland and it's gorgeous, is that it's a game that can be played either competitively or solo or cooperatively. And if you play it cooperatively, it's not that different from the competitively, because in the game, even when you're playing competitively, you're able to directly attack only the auto-controlled NPCs in the game rather than each other, which is very refreshing in this sort of game. And it's just extremely smooth and clever. This is one that is available now. The Kickstarter has already come out, and it's available to purchase in stores. And it's just a terrific game that will be available. So it's not one that I'm uncertain of. This is a great game, Moitura.
This looks like Inish.
Yeah, well, that's my favorite game of all time. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good one. 2-player only is the only drawback, really.
It's perfect for us because we only play games as 2-player most of the time.
Yeah,
same here.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right. So first off, my wallet is going to get assaulted when I go to Gencon because I collect minis and shelfie. I collect miniature stuff. So the fact they're little miniature board games I can sit on my shelf, 28 of them in the first season. If you buy the kit, it has everything. But I don't know. I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. I 3D print shells for all my miniature stuff from Miniverse and the vinyls and everything. So $5, I guarantee this area for Brotherwise games is going to be absolutely ridiculous. I mean, not for everybody, but those who, man, it's going to be ridiculous.
Are you sharing anything, or are you just like talking about it?
Oh, I'll do it. Watch this. Bam. Look at that. See,
well, let's remember we're doing a podcast, so it kind of explains what it is.
Actually, I thought it was sharing at first.
Oh,
so the way I'm not.
We are professionals here, guys.
Hey, I hit the button and I didn't follow the second green button that says share, please. But yeah, basically, if anybody collects Miniverse stuff or mini brands, that kind of thing, should be not unknown to you. Brotherwise Games is basically partnered with a lot of board game manufacturers to do season 1s, 28 little miniature board games that are created to look exactly like the real games. I don't think the interior opens, but
that would be ridiculous.
If it did, that would be, dude, I would buy all of them. My wallet would hate me, but I just like miniature stuff. I do collect a lot of things like this. We have like a lot of miniature vinyl collections from like Miniverse and mini brand stuff. And yeah, so for me, this is the kind of, I'm unfortunately the target audience for this, which is going to be god awful, but
they're going to come out with nuts. Tons of rares and all this stuff, and then 3 years from now they're going to actually make a game over with it, and then it's going to be like, oh, then everybody's going to go frantic about trying to find the old versions of the games and stuff.
And I think it's wonderful. It's perfect for your dollhouse. It'll be something that you can add for your dolls to.
Here's the thing: I would be surprised if they didn't sell out of all of this by 2-3 days in.
I'm willing to bet they'll sell out the first day. I think this is going to be really popular. Because here's the thing, the pins are really popular. There's an entire trading of pins and stuff. So,
and now, with this one, if you notice, Potion Explosion is on the top right, but if you buy the kit and the one next to it, it actually would give you everything. Because I think like the Final Girl is rare. I think there's like 5 of them that are rare. But it's super cool. Fun. Yeah. So the kit, the main box comes with 5 of them, and then the shelf, the Calyx replica shelf unit. And then there's little blind bag things that have like 3 in each one, I think.
No, I don't think they should base... Now, hang on. They shouldn't base the rarity on just random whatever. It should be based on what board games are actually hard to find. You can find Final Girl in any store. Like, the rare ones should be a board game.
The rare ones are Brotherwise Games.
It should be a grail game that, everyone's looking for and is actually hard to find.
Yeah.
So like old school Fantasy Flight games.
Right.
It'd be really cool if they had, instead of going to a booth, right, you go to some game company, you go to Smirk and Dagger, just because I see Boop on there. But you go to Smirk and Dagger, and if you buy the game, you actually get the little shelfie box version of it for your shelfie.
That'd be cool.
And so you can go to all these publishers and get like exclusives and stuff. This will either do one of 2 things. It will stay around and blow up, or it will be a flash in the pan at this Gen Con and go away.
Exactly.
I think this is the kind of stuff that people love, blind bags and miniature stuff. I think it'll do well. Either way, it's hilarious. So I'm buying it.
Fair enough.
All right.
Next up for me is a game that is a little card game, and it's called Dnup, and it's DNUP. This is by the same designer as Scout, and I don't even know who's publishing it, but let's say I think it's Asmodee. Well, anyway,
it is.
And so in this game, you will have a hand of cards just like in Scout, except you can rearrange them. So the cards have a number on the top and they have a number on the bottom, and it forms your hand, right? I'm going to stop comparing to the Scout and just tell you how the game plays now. Basically, you have one of 4 options. You can play in front of you as many of one number as you have. It doesn't matter where you're in the hand or anything. So you just have, I'm going to play all 4s, right? So I play like 3 4s. Or on your turn, if you don't have anything to put out, you could play a card in front of somebody else's set that they have. So if Brian had 2 2s, I could put a 2 onto his. If that doesn't get beaten by the time it comes around back to you, it gets discarded, and it's one of those things where you're trying to go out. The catch is, though, each card set is kind of in its own contention versus others. So like if I play a one of a kind, the only way to beat it is to play another one of a kind. So if I play a 1 and then George goes next and plays 2 2s, the 2 2s don't actually put the 1 back into my hand. It doesn't do anything. So like you have to play it has to match somebody else's number of cards to either contest against it, right? If your cards get sent back to your hand, they flip around and go back to your hand. So even though you had two 10s in this example that's on the screen, so I got a 10 and a 10, if it comes back to my hand, now I've got a 3 and a 2. So it can actually be pretty detrimental to come back into your hand. You can also do an action where you just flip the cards over in your hand, the whole deck. Can't choose just a couple. And lastly, I forget what the last action is now, even though I'm staring right at it. But anyway, the point is, you go around and the first person to go out collects 2 of the little letter tokens, and you're trying to get 4. If you get 4, you win. I'm not sold that this is better than Scouts, but it is something I would be interested in picking up because it is very light. It's a lighter version with a lot of twists that make it unique. And so it's not necessarily trying to replace itself. You know, the designer's coming out with something different. It's not like it's not like an Uwe Rosenberg game where you just keep publishing Agricola 50 times. It's like its own thing. And I really like it. It's a fun game. So, and the card cuts are really interesting. They're not it's interesting and annoying at the same time. They're not tarot size, but they're slightly smaller, and they're rounded on 2 corners and squared on the other 2. So it feels different in your hands. But if you like to sleeve games, I apologize. This ain't happening. So anyway, that is Down Up or Danup.
I think it's Down Up. That's how they're doing it.
No, they were pronouncing it Danup.
I've heard it both. Yeah, who knows?
I know Tom was having a field day with the name.
It looks pretty good, though. I'm looking forward to that one, too, even though it's not on my list.
Is that already came out?
You could pre-order it from... I don't know if it has an English release technically.
Okay.
It's on Board Game Arena.
Because I had it since Gamma. That's why I was like, when did I get this?
Yeah.
I forgot I had it.
Okay. My next game is the only solo game I have on here is Enchanted Ivy.
Boom.
And that is what it is it's by all play. And you're pulling tiles and you have to lay down one tile where the ivy is showing. What you're building is a grid and the other is a balcony where you'll be placing customers. So you're building an Airbnb with magical ivory covering your walls, it says there. So you're trying to score points by doing the ivory, and then also you'll have objective cards where you want this, that certain customers that you put in the balconies, they have special rules to be able to score. So one will say it can be the only person on a balcony on the first level, or it doesn't score. Stuff like that. So have different objectives like that. And what piqued my interest, it reminds me, it's got the Carcassonne style laying down the tiles. And then it also gives me vibes of Grand Austria Hotel with the customers, and you're putting the customers in the rooms. This one you're putting customers in the balconies and you're doing scoring like that. And it came to Kickstarter earlier this year or late last year, and I don't know, I kind of paused. It was one of the times I think I was stopping doing Kickstarter for a while, and I debated on it, and in a way I kind of regret not doing that. I wish I'd it's all play. They're about 80% success rate with me. So, and Carcassonne, who doesn't like Carcassonne, and probably George. And
how dare you?
No, I'm just kidding. So that's what really intrigued me, is that style like that, and the puzzle that you're trying to get, the right patterns that with the clients in your Airbnb. And I probably end up picking this up, and again, it's one player only. So if you're not into solo games, this is definitely not for you, but that would be definitely for me. Try and pull up it doesn't have many pictures online. So that's pretty much, just shows you the scoring for each person that you're placing in the Airbnb. I think it's just a B&B, not an Airbnb, but so you're trying to score with the Ivy and the customers, and that is Enchanted Ivy.
Does All Play have other one-player only games, or is that their first?
Not that I know of. I think that's the first one.
That's cool.
All right. I think James would know. He knows all the All Play games. All right. So my next one here is called Pet Quartet, and this is a card game that is, I'll just say it, very similar to Coloretto, where if you know that game, the way that it works, you have several piles of cards that you're creating as you play. You can either add a card into a pile, or you can take an entire pile and be out of the round with your goods. And in this game, you score by getting either a solo performance. It's based on a musical theme, either just a single card, give you the score that the card is, whatever the number is, or you can score a quartet of four of the same cards, and then you score that number. But otherwise, there's an advanced scoring as well. But this, in the basic game, that's how you score. And if you have 2 or 3 of a card, you get nothing. And the trick is to try to sort of bust the other players by making them get the wrong number of cards if they go over 4 or whatever. And there are different rules that each of the lines of cards that you're creating as you play have to follow. So as you put cards out, they have to follow certain rules in order to be put into certain in an area that can be taken. The game is better than Colorado. It's cuter, and there's a bit more thought involved, and it's very fast and just a breezy, excellent new card game. I really like it a lot. Pet Quartet.
And it looks like it re-implements Audition, which I don't know. That came out in 2023.
Okay.
Which I never heard of.
No, I hadn't either.
That's pretty neat. I like Colorado. That's a cute little game.
The cards, I should have mentioned, there's the numbers of cards. There's 1 card and 2 2s, 3 3s, and 4 4s.
A different layout than Colorado. But yeah, when you said it was like Colorado, oh my gosh. When I was looking at the image, it looks just like it. Like with the 1, 2, and 3 cards or whatever. It's very, very similar. I just played that last week on PGA.
Yeah, it has really, really cute artwork with these different animals that are playing instruments. And then they all have terrible puns as their names. Like there's a turtle, and that's Crawl McCartney because it's a turtle, and just stuff like that. It's great.
Nice.
I like it. Share. Okay. So one of the games I'm really looking forward to is Dune Imperium's new expansion. So it's called Conspiracy. There's really very little. It is going to be showcased at Gencon, so this will be a first look. What's kind of cool about it is adds these conspiracy cards that act as ongoing buffs throughout the game, which I thought was really cool. But it's also got a really neat overthrow mode, which basically 3 of the players work together and one of the players becomes the emperor, and you basically are trying to take out the emperor. So it adds like a completely new gameplay mode, which I thought was actually really neat. But yeah, I love Dune Imperium, and I think this is it's going to be interesting. I'm really curious to see what other features, because there's very little information on it. But I'm excited for it because I think it's going to be fun.
I do like that it says expansion for either base game. So that's nice. Yeah. They're keeping the original alive rather than, supplanting it with a new one.
Yeah,
right. Even though I think Uprising is better, I love the fact that they're allowing that flexibility for the people that maybe don't have Uprising.
And more Dune Imperium's always good.
Yeah, Dune Imperium is great.
It's probably I would say that's probably one of my favorite 4-player game experiences I've had is with that game.
Yeah, it's a really fun game.
It's solid.
Next up for me is a game called Rocking Raft, which sounds like it could be a metal album or something, but it's not. It's actually a raft that really does rock. So what's interesting about this game is that this is a Horrible Guild game. The board is on a Weeble wobble type of things so you can move it around, right? It actually rocks like it says in the title. So the board will rock back and forth.
Oh, it's like a seesaw.
Yeah, it's like a seesaw. There you go. That's a good way to describe it. So it's like a seesaw, and the board is on top of it, but the board has these 3D rooms, like you're putting cardboard pieces, like inserting them to make walls and such. And there's all these gems. There really isn't anything about the rules that I could find, but basically these are rocking around, and the gems are going to fall off. And as they fall off, you're going to be loading up these cards that have like ships printed on them with different cargo bays. Like maybe it has a red or a yellow, and you have to put the gems on the right spots. And if you fill them up, it's worth victory points. It just looks really fun and neat because I like dexterity, but I it doesn't always have to be flicking or stacking. And this is a dexterity game where you're not doing any of that. It's obviously for kids. It says 15 minutes and 6+ for the age, but it looks fun enough to keep me entertained with the dexterity element. And that's what's neat about dexterity games with kids is they're usually really good at dexterity games. Even though they may not understand the strategy of what you're doing, my 3-year-old can do a catapult and flip guys up into a tower. I forgot what game it was, better than I can, even though he doesn't know, like, what do I pick from that? He's just bam, 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 doing all this fun things. So it's a really interesting game. Considering that it's being published by a horrible guild means it should be pretty decent for what it is, which is a family weight dexterity game. It only takes 50 minutes. So that is Rocking Raft. Yeah,
this one looks terrific. It was on my short list. I'm definitely on board with that one, so to speak.
My next one is Cascadia Alpine Lakes. Just a standalone expansion. I don't know if it's an expansion. You can just say it's a reimplementation of Cascadia. It's the same exact game except for they changed a little bit where obviously the animals are different. The what do you call it? The
habitats.
Yeah, habitats are different. Thank you. I'm gone crazy there. And they also allow you to, which seemed interesting. I have the hardest time. I'm sorry, everybody. That
computers
share
are hard,
screen,
guys.
No, that share screen thing just sits there and it covers everything. Also, what seems interesting to me here is that you can stack the tiles, unlike normal Cascadia, where you're putting them next to each other. And here you can stack them like Acropolis. I don't know if anybody's ever played Acropolis. So that's what that reminds me of. So that's pretty interesting. And they've got also these lakes. So I assume those will bring up different scoring opportunities. But it's just the same way as Cascadia, where you're drafting the tile and the animal each time. And you use the pine cones to be able to draft different tiles and different animals. But other than that, I mean, Cascadia is my favorite of the trilogy, the Verdant Calico Cascadia trilogy. So I'm definitely looking forward to this, trying this out, a new twist on the original Cascadia.
It looks like those tiles are, sorry, those tiles are double, like 2 hexes together, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And they have different animals, like you said. I saw beavers in there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, before we continue, the one thing that is neat, but it also bothers me, is in the board gaming world, how fast games are reinvented now. Like Cascadia is not old, and here they are coming out with a new copy. Four Shuffle's not old. Here they are coming out with newer ones. Yeah, you can play the old ones, but at the same time, it seems like these are more 2.0 than a completely different game. And you're just shelling out tons of money to put the same game on your shelf.
Well, how many Azul are out there, right?
Yeah.
That's true. But here's the thing, though, about Azul is that almost all of them play completely different than each other, right? The core foundation of Cascadia is exactly the same in this. You just add a few more rules and here you go, new game. To me, it's like, it's interesting because it will sell, but it should be called like Cash Grabia. I don't know. Like, I'm not. It's
to be fair, in this day and age, everybody's attention span is so short that if a game is more than 3 years old, people have already half the time forgot about it, and they want something new.
That's the interesting thing.
I get why.
Yeah,
but it's not something new. That's the point. Like it's going with something that
but how many games can you look at your shelf and go, that game reminds me of this game, that reminds me of that game? Most of the stuff reminds me of another game. 90% of my stuff reminds me of something else. If
somebody's building a new game, sure, they've got inspiration, and that's like, okay, clearly this game is Everdell. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But you like clearly you know what it was inspired by. This is like just reprinting the same game with 2 new rules and saying it's like the 50 versions of Flux that's out there. I don't know. Like
I feel like that's the theme of 2026. I mean, I see it's hard to pick games. I was like, not even looking forward to games because like everything's re-implementation.
I did notice that there is a lot of re-implementation, but in some way that's actually cool because some of the games that are being like Cascadia, it's like weird because it's such a new game, but some of these other games are re-implementing games that came out 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, and they don't, there's no reprinting of those. So it makes sense to re-implement them, change them up a little bit, spice them up for like the modern era and re-release them under a new theme or whatever. That's cool. But anyway, I digress.
I guess it also depends on how many times you play a certain game. Like I could say I've probably played the first Forest Shuffle 27 times, probably. I've probably played Dartmoor 15 times. So after I've played it so much, I'm like, I like the game. I kind of would like to see something different, but I kind of like this feel. So I actually don't mind a game changing a couple things because it's like when an expansion in the game comes out. I don't want it to change much. I just want them to add a couple extra things where it's still the same game I like with some new stuff. There are certain games that I think is too close, like Point Salad, right? A lot of those are very similar, but there's enough changes. But Forest Shuffle, I don't personally mind it because I like this changes of like, oh, cool, this goes this way. The way the Moors work is a little different. Maybe the cross points, how they work are a little different. Just makes me, but I do like the way that game works versus I don't want them to keep adding expansions to it because Forest Shuffle, the first one, has too many and stuff gets so diluted, I can't even complete scoring half the time.
Yeah,
with the standalones, I don't mind because I know it's designed to be able to this and maybe one more and then done. Build something new. Because that was your concern with the first when you don't like inserting everything because it just dilutes everything so bad, especially on 2-player. Right. I'm removing 45 cards out of the set. So it's like I might lose half the stuff I need.
Yeah, you don't have any idea what's in there, Yeah. George, I apologize. So what was your next game? I'm going to bring it up real quick.
Sure. My next one is Defenders of the Dictionary.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is one that I know the least about. There's not a lot of information out there. What I do know is that it is a cooperative spelling game, sort of a Scrabble kind of game, where you are following a story where you're trying to defeat some villains by cooperatively spelling. That's pretty much all I know. But here's the thing. I love cooperative spelling games. Ooh. And spelling games are kind of like abstract games in a way. When you play an abstract game against, whoever, if you're just better than they are at that game, you will demolish them. And it won't be any fun, right? If you're a chess master and you're just taking on whoever, you're going to wipe them out or not play to your best, right? And if it's a spelling game and it's competitive and they're spelling trip and your turn you're spelling portmanteau, right?
I don't even know what that word is.
What?
I think you just made stuff up. By the way, Tim, if you want to pull up the link in chat, it actually has pictures of the board game, of the actual board and stuff.
And I'm going to add to the theme that turns me off is co-op spelling games.
Co-op spelling games.
Co-op spelling games. There haven't been that many, but the ones that there have been terrific. There's you can play.
It's very Scrabble.
Paperback and hardback. You can play cooperatively. Other than that, there's Letter Jam, which is tremendous. There's Illiterati, which is excellent, and Spookstaben, which is not released other than in Germany, but it's an excellent game. There's not a whole lot other than those, right? So I'm really hoping this is another one to put into that pantheon. I love those games. When you're working together and one of you is spelling trip and the other one is spelling portmanteau, that's okay because you're working together.
Can you use proper words like that? Proper nouns?
Can you use that in a sentence, George?
It sounds like a place.
Or is that a proper noun, or is that an actual
Spooks, word? Well, here's one. The game Spookstaben, the name of it is a portmanteau of spook and Buchstaben. It's two words put together to make another word.
Oh, fair enough.
It would be interesting to have George do like a top 6 linguistics based board games list. We probably have 20 because it'll take him that long to talk about it because they're pretty complex.
Such an odd number. Fair enough.
Yeah, but that was a really strange number.
6.5 games.
Yeah, just 6.5. A couple honorable mentions.
Let's talk about the back of the box. That's all.
I like the tagline: "Word together to complete missions and unpuzzle the master villain."
Nice.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I could see that. I usually don't play the spelling games here because Mel just completely wrecks me.
Well, there you go, Brian. Now you need this.
You need
there you go.
So I can lose even in more glorious manner.
No, you're going to work together.
It's co-op. It's co-op.
Yeah, true. Mel, I'll just sit here and watch. I'll put an S. I'll put an S and an ED on the end of everything you do. Let's go. It actually, I could see the audience for this game though. In all seriousness, it has a very interesting theme and style, and I can't think of another game like it. So
cool.
I just listed like 5, but yeah.
That's fair enough. That's awesome.
All right, we're moving on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Defenders of the Dictionary.
All right. Sure. Okay. Highlight my mess. I only one monitor, so it's driving me insane. What do I want to? Oh my god, I hate this thing.
Oh my god, this is a great podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Remember, we're doing audio too. Keep going.
Actually, to be fair, I think this is the first time I've had to share. But there is a game that Capstone is doing called Greenwood. And I actually pulled up where it's based on. It's a Furland game, but it looks really cool. I can't read any of this stuff, but but I'm looking here because the imagery looks really neat. It's got a really cool style. I think you're basically doing woodland, doing druids and trying to create a bunch of stuff. I don't know.
Okay, I love it already.
There's not really much information on it, but the artwork style I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I tried to demoed.
Yes, it's here is because this is why I couldn't pull it up here because there's nothing.
Yeah,
so when I found the original, and I'll be demoing it on, I don't remember what day it is. One of the days I'm going to be in the demo for it, but I thought it just looked cool because there's another game that Capstone's doing. I'll talk about that. It's in the same vein. I think we kind of discussed earlier, but I don't know. It just looks really cool. Very interesting theme, very stylized, and I think it's like worker placement.
That draws me to it real quick is on the front it says Greenwood, and then it's like got the like somebody scrawled on the wall is a lie, and that just it just opens up the theme to be like, what is the lie? You know, it's almost like if you ever watch the show Silo, you know, like the outside's a lie. Or whatever. Anyway,
the cake
it looks
is a
like
lie.
It looks like you're at Circle Druids, and you're there's a vacation spot, but it says that version of Greenwood is a lie. And I guess you have to lead your companions to save it. And you use ability. Oh, that's cool. You use abilities against your own companions as well.
That sounds great. I'm so into this. Yeah.
I just thought the theme and the style looked cool, even though I can't get too much more detail. But I was like, it was enough to make me interested to check it out.
Yeah, that's all about. That's what this is about, right? Just to get a snippet, an elevator pitch from somebody to be like, oh, this looks really cool. Because we haven't played these games. We haven't do super amount of research on these games because some of it doesn't have enough research to do in the first place. And if it did, it's already released, you know? And so it's just really fun to get excited about what to go to the booths and stuff at Gencon to go check these out and demo them. So hopefully if you're all listening to the podcast or watching this video, you will, be excited about at least a few of these games, and it, kind of curates 600 games into a small list of stuff that we're excited about. And I'm sure there's plenty of games that will show up at Gen Con and be like, holy crap, what's this? There's going to be surprises.
Yeah, there's so many
that have not been said to anybody. Yeah. Stuff's going to be there that was not announced. Stuff's going to be there that people overlooked. There's going to be those hidden gems. So
I'm really hyped about this one though, Brian. That's a great choice. Is the title of it Greenwood, or is it Greenwood is a lie?
It's Greenwood. So it's by Capstone, and the game is called Greenwood, one word.
Cool.
Is Next up for me, or Greenwood, one word.
Oh my god! Next up for me is a Steve Jackson game, and it's called Brigand's Bluff. And this is a little dice game that basically the players are rolling these dice, and they're going to give clues to the captain. So one player is the captain. All the other players are rolling dice. And they're writing, they're saying things like, oh, I see 5 bones or whatever, or I saw 2 flags. But the symbols on the different sides of the die have, different features on them. So maybe the skull and crossbones is on one side, but on another side of the die is crossbones on a flag. And then on another side of the die, it's a bird carrying a bone in it. So it's like these features appear on all the different sides. So you're getting the clues. And the captain's going to guess which symbols are rolled to claim stuff. And then everyone gets a turn as the captain, and whoever has the most points wins. So you're trying to guess or get the captain to guess what you rolled, I guess. There's not a lot of information about it out there. But otherwise, what is actually out there for the picture and that kind of like the back of the box made me interested, because it seems says 15 to 30 minutes. That's probably based on if you're playing 3 to 6 players. So it's a very filler game. You just roll the dice and be like, oh yeah, I've seen this. I saw that. And that sounds kind of neat to play either before you start heavy gaming or maybe at the end of the night when you don't have enough time to play something super long and you just bust this out. So that is Brigand's Bluff.
That sounds fun.
My next one is, I'm going to be quick on this one. It's Thunder Road Ignition. It is exactly Thunder Road Vendetta, but as they claim, there's no other pictures on here, but it's pretty much Thunder Road Vendetta with rules tweaked. So give me vibes. Speaking of Doom Imperium, it's probably like Doom Imperium Uprising, where it's the same base game, but it's tweaking a lot of the rules, and that's pretty much straightforward. They don't have it's so new. And there's other websites. I probably go to their website, but it looks like a low cost Thunder Road Vendetta, and Thunder Road Vendetta is one of my favorite racing games. It's just stupid fun is what my group always calls this kind of games. And it's just a good time. And it's one of those ones you got to have the right group, or people get mad if you knock them off the board and kill them. Beyond that, it's just good times had by all. Sorry.
I was going to say at the beginning of the podcast, I talked about racing games being the one sport type of thing I'm okay with, especially if it has missiles.
Yeah, Thunder Road Vendetta.
I'm surprised I have not tried out Thunder Road. There's an old game called Rush and Crush that kind of fills that gap. But
Thunder Road Vendetta is awesome. It's just fun. And you could even accidentally knock yourself off the track and kill your cars, because everybody starts with 3 different cars. And so you can keep going if one car gets knocked off, but once all 3 are gone, you're dead. But it is an elimination game, but once one person gets eliminated, the game goes fast. Because you put up the finish line. Because there's nothing
to kill and you just go to the end?
No, because if you're like playing a 4-player game and one person gets knocked out of the game, that's when you put the finish line up. So then it's a race to the finish line, and then and by that time, everybody's probably down to 1 car anyway. So it's just a quick racing battle game. It's pretty fun, and I highly recommend. If you haven't tried Thunder Road Vendetta, try that, or maybe play this one and see if you can if it's better for you, because it looks like a quick little smaller version of Thunder Road Vendetta, which is not that big of a game anyway, but it's got tons of expansions. But this one it's just like they're redoing it with the, as they say, tweaked rules.
And that's Thunder Road Ignition. Operates as an expansion.
Does it?
You can mix it in with the others.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that. So yeah, there you go.
Mix it in with other Thunder Road games and expansions for the ultimate wild ride. You missed all the fun. The fun thing to read off.
Okay, my next is a party game, and it is Jinx-O. Jinx-O is a game where you have a board where you have 9 places to write down answers, and you have various points depending on where you put them. And then you're going to have 3 questions that come up, and they could be something like 3 fictional cats, right? So then you think, okay, what am I going to write down as a fictional cat? And you think of 3 different ones, and you put them in 3. Yeah, Garfield. Okay.
I thought we were playing.
James, have you got
one? Heathcliff.
Heathcliff. Is that a cat?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, all right.
Thomas O'Malley from the Aristocats. Go.
Okay. So you'd probably want to put down your Thomas in like a 1 spot, because who else is going to think of that? And your Garfield in a 3, right? Or something. You're the way that you decide where you're going to put these is based on points. And then everyone does this. And at the end, once you've done 3 categories like that, your board is completely full. And then you're going to go through and you're going to say, okay, who else has Garfield? And if anybody else has Garfield, you circle the answer. It counts. If only one other person had Garfield, then you would also get a star. And a star gives you extra points. And if nobody said it, then you just cross it off. So it's very much hive mind. It's very much that kind of word game, sort of redone in a different format for scoring points. But it sounds like a very fun way to do it. And you do 3 at a time essentially, and it's just a big, simple, I think, interesting way to do this particular style of party game.
Yeah. Reminds me of like a reverse categories kind of game.
That's what I was going to say. It's like categories, but also like competitive just one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that sort of thing. It's really like a compact version of Hive Mind, and I think it'll just be a great party game for the year. Jinxo.
Is that the one that won the Spiel des Jahres?
Ooh, did it?
I don't know. Something looked like a party game that won it.
I don't know. They don't have it listed as winning.
Oh, maybe not.
So maybe not.
Never mind then.
I mean,
no. 2026 Spiel des Jahres nominee.
I hope it wins.
I think those have already been announced, I thought.
Yeah.
I hope it has won.
Cozy Stickerville, Jinxo, and Morty Sorty Magic Shop.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, it won.
Jinxo
How about that?
Won.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Did it win?
I believe so.
Oh, you're telling me.
I don't know. Let's look it up live on the podcast.
It won.
2026.
It won.
Did it win?
They call it Ditto, but it's Jinxo in parentheses. Yeah, it won. It beat out Cozy Stickerville, Morty Sorty Magic Shop.
Ah, nice.
Very cool.
Very cool.
I'm more interested now. That's why we do this.
Yeah.
What you got, Brian?
So I'm actually going to switch one of mine from my honorable mentions. The more I thought about it, it's basically a game called Entropy. And basically the way this game works is you're a scientist that is creating stars and planets, and from microbes to animals, the full system. And basically what you're kind of doing is it's kind of like an action selection kind of game where you're running your scientist around, and then you will resolve either the inner or the outer action in order to complete it. Medium heavy, I guess, depending on how you look at it. But it's got some really good feedback so far as how well the game works. It looks really cool. I like the theme.
Are you a scientist or are you a god? If you're like making animals and stars, and
I just find the games and play them.
Either way.
Yeah, the style of it's really cool. It's got a lot going on, but I just like the thematic aspect of it, and I thought that was a really cool idea. So just something to kind of keep an eye on. I think the actual release date is at Gencon, so I think the 30th of July.
Got that 3.6 weight. I'm in.
Ooh,
yeah, me too.
It's boards and dice too, so it should be rather thinky.
Oh, dude, they've been slaying that. Okay, that explains why it looks the way it does. But that is Entropy. Back to Tim.
It's entropy, right? Entropy.
Yeah, that's how I say it. Entropy.
That's why I don't play the spelling games.
Next up for me is a game called Strange Slot Simulator. This game was it was weird because it was an accident that I clicked it. And then once I clicked it, I was like, well, I'll just read a little bit. And then I started being very intrigued by this. This is a wild game. Essentially, at the beginning of the game, you're going to take all these little cards that, they're symbols. I think there's like 6 or 7 that match what a slot machine would pop up, like hearts and like watermelons and cherries and stuff. And you're going to make 6 decks based on what the rule book tells you to do, right? So one slot machine, and before I go any further, it says the only way out of the cursed casino is to uncover the secrets hidden inside the 6 slot machines.
That's fantastic. So I'm in now.
Dude, it gets better. I actually probably should have moved this up on on the excitement list here, but
the title is terrible. Strange Slot Simulator. Compared to that first sentence, if it had anything to do with that,
it should have just been called Cursed Casino. That would have been awesome. But each of these decks has a layout of all the cards. So each deck has the exact same symbols, but then different amounts of each symbol in the deck. So one deck has more cherries than other decks. And what you do is on your turn, there's no turn, it's real time. It's like 4 minutes. You grab one of those decks and you flip out 3 cards and you write down on your board, on your little deduction sheet, check boxes based on, okay, I got a bell and I got 2 grapes. So then you have, if you want to, you can keep going, or you can put that deck back and pick one that hasn't been selected, because if somebody else has a casino, a slot machine in front of them, that deck, you can't take it from them. Right. But there's 6 out in the middle. And so you're going to grab, let's say you keep going. So you have to shuffle those cards back into the deck, and then flip 3 more out like a casino. Like you keep pulling the thing. Shing, shing, shing.
Yeah, you can get the same exact cards. You don't know.
Yeah, and then behind your player screen, it actually tells you what each of the slot machines has as far as like the ratio of the cards in its deck.
Oh my gosh!
But and then so after 4 minutes, there's like a pause, and everybody kind of sits around and thinks about what they want to, like which deck is which, right? Because out in the middle of the table, the deck actually has a card under it that says one like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or whatever.
Okay.
And so you're trying to say, okay, I think deck A is the one with the most bells or whatever. And so you're trying to deduce all 6 slot machines and what they are.
Oh,
At the same time, if the little bells flip out, when the bells flip out, they will give you bonuses. So it'll have a bonus on there. And when it gives you a bonus, you actually get to mark your sheet, and then it gives you extra flips. So when you activate bonus, this time when you pull the machine, you're going to mark off on your sheet, I'm going to use this bonus, and then I can flip out 5 cards. So it gives you more information. You're trying to figure out, how to get out of this cursed casino. Dude, it's such a happy accident that I clicked this link because this sounds
sounds like a blast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to look for this one.
That is Strange Slot Machine.
My next one has been mentioned on the podcast before, so this is a repeat. It's Fliptoons Season 2. I mean, if you don't know Fliptoons, Fliptoons is more or less a deck builder where you're trying to build a tableau of 6 cards or 6+ cards, and your goal is at the end to get your deck where your final flip will be your most, get you the most points, because that's what scores. Your last tableau that you have out there is what scores at the end. So you're trying to construct your deck or build it to get rid of the bad cards and get the more higher scoring cards. So you can hopefully get that last tableau out there to be your highest scoring. And it's a standalone expansion. So you can either play this by itself, like I said, and then you can mix them in. And we've talked about it before. I mean, it looks like just more of the same. So that's all I can say about it. It's just, I'm actually looking forward to this. I really want to see what kind of different animals and cards they've added.
I know they've added aquatic cards.
Yeah,
for sure. But they'll have all different powers, and that'll be really cool. I think it's a great pick.
You got to say the sign off. No, I was kidding.
Oh, that was Fliptoons Season 2. And on to you, George.
Thank you.
Like a live broadcast here.
My next one is so uncharacteristic for me because it's very heavy. It's a Danny Garcia game. Those are not usually my thing, although I will say Windmill Valley was terrific. And this is called Diables, and it is based on a Catalan festival where people dress up as devils and go around with pitchforks that have fireworks on the end of them. And there's like giant monsters that are paper mache, but they're fire resistant, and they're like breathing fire and on fire and fireworks. And they go through the streets blowing everything up for fun. And that's what the game is about. I don't know a whole lot about the festival other than that. I haven't ever actually been there or seen it. Maybe one of these days, but this is a worker placement game with some kind of funny Danny Garcia twists on worker placement, I'm sure. Very heavy Euro with the most incredible artwork. That's why I've picked it, to be honest. And I liked Windmill Valley, so I'm going to give it a try, even though it might not be my kind of game. I think it looks gorgeous, and I'm really interested to see how it turns out. They've got the devils with the fireworks. They've got the drummers. There's drumming that goes on. They've got the giant, sort of paper mache monsters running around. It just looks great.
The screen printed meeples are awesome.
Yeah,
we've talked about that before, but dude, if you want to deluxify your board games, like don't do miniatures. Do screen printed meeples or acrylics. Yeah. Acrylics are also nice. I mean, that to me is better than miniatures. Depending on the game, obviously, if it's a dungeon crawler, miniatures make sense. But like Euro games, miniatures, bleh. Right. They're fun to paint, but no one wants to paint. So
yeah, if you look at these, you'll see what we're talking about. They're just incredible looking.
Cool.
Don't know much about the game itself, but have you guys played other Danny Garcia games like Barcelona and all that kind of stuff?
I actually don't know. I'm not familiar. Let's see. Barcelona. I do want to play Barcelona, by the way. That was on my wish list.
Yeah.
Tashi. Yeah. Oh, the Voynich puzzle. Brian, did you ever get that to the table?
I have not, but it is still on my list to do.
There you go.
They're all heavy kind of things, but I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
So that is
very nice.
Diables.
Yes. And then for me, there's a game that I saw coming out as the other game that Capstone is doing. It's Carl Von Linné. It's as far as I know, I think James, did you say you played it?
No.
Or is it George?
I've played it. Yeah,
you played it because I know it's basically about taxonomy. It's a worker placement kind of gameplay loop where you're collecting samples during expeditions, turning them in the library to get knowledge and publish the books.
Yeah, you're naturalists.
Looked rad.
It's not necessarily taxonomy, but you're naturalists at least. Yeah.
So this is a picture I found of the actual board and everything laid out. I just thought it looked really cool. I thought the theme was nice because I like stuff like Darwin and all those other kind of games. So I figured it would probably be in that kind of realm, I guess.
Yeah, I think you would like it. I found it really smooth for the weight that it is, and it's a bit heavy, but the gameplay was extremely easy to understand and smooth flowing, and I really enjoyed it.
So 3.6, so not bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, time looks pretty reasonable. So yeah, it just caught my eye. But this is actually the one I had to look at my list. This is the one that I'm doing the preview on Friday from 3 to 5 with Capstone. So I get to play through it, do a demo, run through the whole game, and it should be fun.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. I think you will for sure. The theme pulled me through it because it's a bit heavier than I usually go for. But at the end of the day, this is one that it's a winner from Capstone for sure.
And if you're saying it's smooth for that heaviness, that'd be awesome.
Yes,
I agree.
That is
Carl Von Linné with Fight Capstone. Back to you.
Is that demo only at Gencon?
I don't know. I'm assuming I had to sign up for it. It was a media event, so I'm assuming it's not being released, but it's being demoed there through the media event.
Probably.
Next up for me is a combination of two games that are really fun, I think, and that is Carcassonne Labyrinth. So if you're not familiar with either of these games, play them. Carcassonne, obviously a tile laying game where you're making a city, you get points for doing things. Labyrinth is a game where you have a grid of tiles and you're forcing a tile in from the left or the bottom or up, down, whatever, and you're pushing the line of tiles and one will fall off the other side. And then you move your meeple around on the paths that are created to try to get your meeple on a symbol that you have a card in your hand for. So if you have a key and you move your meeple around onto the key, then you get rid of the card. And I don't remember, it's been so long, but you play so many cards, I think, and then you win the game.
You split the deck evenly amongst the players, and then you have a deck that you pull one at a time. Once you get that, you lay it down, then you pull another card off the deck of your personal deck. Yeah. And once your deck is gone, you win the game if you are the first one.
So they came out with Pokemon, Minecraft, all kinds of stuff. And it's like you can buy the game, but you keep buying the same game over and over. Here's where it gets crazy. Carcassonne Labyrinth works a little different. And actually the rulebook is online and I read it because I was that interested in this. In this one, you will have the same cards that you are trying to complete, like the icons or whatever. But at the same time, when you put a tile in and it pushes it off, you actually get to build a Carcassonne city in front of you. So the tiles that are actually pushed off, you are putting in front of you to complete cities and to complete roads, but you're also moving your meeple around on the paths that are left out on the main board to complete other objectives. And so then, you push it out. And if you complete castles or towns and roads, some of them will have like the little symbols, like I think it's inns and cathedrals in the Carcassonne expansion, inns and cathedrals that will give you like these little symbols on the cities. When you complete them, you get those tokens and they give you different scoring and stuff. And at the end of the game, you get points for all this, but you get those, but the points are really just tiles. And then this is the only part I'm like, whatever, gimmick. You stack up all your tokens And then whoever's stack is the highest, you put the crown on it, and that means you won. You build the highest tower. Well, okay, just count them, whatever.
Oh, yeah, come on. That's funny.
Yeah, that's kind of silly. But then on top of that, the tiles that come in this box are actually a mini expansion that you can use in Carcassonne.
Okay.
So,
and is there a mini expansion you can use in Labyrinth as well?
Well, I doubt it, but
unfair.
And I don't think it's in this rule book, so it must come with a different rule book in the main game. Or in the game when you buy it, that lets you use it as a mini expansion for Carcassonne. But this is awesome, man. I'm really excited. Labyrinth is such a fun game to play. Carcassonne is such a fun game to play. This is such a great way to combine them, but not lose the essence and just theme it, right? So Pokemon, you're just walking around collecting Pokemon, or getting on Pokemon symbols and getting rid of the cards out of your hand. Minecraft, you're doing the same thing. This is like an entire other thing going on. So super cool. That is Carcassonne Labyrinth.
Interesting.
You have me pumped up for it now.
Is there a giant dragon in the game or just on the cover?
I don't know, but if they come out with an expansion, it better be the catapult.
Yeah, there you go. My next one is Papyria. I don't know, Papyria from Capstone Games. This one's kind of a cheat because I did see it at Origins and they showed me how to kind of play. It's you're moving ships around in a rondel, more or less, and you also have a hiker going around the trails around the outside. And then wherever you land your hiker or your ship, the ships have two different actions you can do. The hiker just has the one, but you can either draw a tile, draw buildings, you can get in-game scoring conditions and scoring tiles. And correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, George, because have you played this, George?
I have played this one, yeah.
Okay. And you're speaking of Carcassonne, you're placing these tiles with the river connecting and stuff. You're trying to connect those so you can get the scoring conditions. And
you build your own little tableau, this little kingdom in front of you, and you've got a meeple on that too, which determines where you can build.
Okay. So yeah, it's one of those ones. Capstone had a Gencon bundle, and I almost pulled the trigger on all of it, but one of the games didn't seem something I liked, and I don't know why. But so I added two of the other ones, and one's on this list, so I can't talk about that one. But the other one was Night at the Zoo, which I pre-ordered that. So this one, I don't know why I didn't pre-order it, and because it looks my type of game. It gives me, with the ships going around in the rondel, even though sailing towards Osiris is just a straight line. That's what this makes me think of for some reason when I see those. But
the board kind of looks like it, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's definitely my type of game, going around the rondel and be able to choose which actions you're choosing or doing, and it actually looks really nice to me. I like the look of that, and definitely will check it out. If I can make my way up to Capstone Games one day, I'll probably see if I can have them demo it again or try to test play it.
This was one of my favorites of their games that are coming out this year. It is it makes you feel clever playing this one. There's ways you can move extra, and you can get around the board and do the things that you want, because there's all these different choices, and it goes so fast and so smooth, and you're dealing with just all these resources all the time, but you seem like you have enough all the time because there's so many ways you can get the resources. And then at the end of the game, what's super clever about it is as you're playing the game, you're getting all these little tiles that are part of getting the resources. But then at the end, when they've run out, they're replaced by tiles that you get that are scoring conditions.
Okay.
And so you feel so clever when you're going for those as well, because you can match it to what you've been doing the whole time, and you end up with so many points at the end of this game. It's great.
And that is Papyria. And off to you, George.
All right. So my next one is called The Glasgow Train Robbery.
Apparently, I have the
that's
wrong
not even
order.
true. It is Totally Human.
All right, you want to do that one? That's fine.
Yeah, let's do Totally Human. So
that was my bad. I actually brought it in the wrong order. Keep going.
You know what? There's no real order here. They're both great games.
Yeah.
So this is one where you're gonna be playing a game where you're trying to certain players are aliens, everyone else is a human. You're trying to figure out who the aliens are, because the aliens have to use a certain number when they're giving their answers, to certain prompts, whereas humans can pick whichever one they think actually fits. So I think it's just going to be a hilarious sort of deductive party game where sometimes people's answers seem wrong because they're just weird, the people that you're playing games with, and sometimes they're wrong because they're actually aliens and they had to pick that, which I think will be really funny, a funny way to, it'll lead to debates and you're trying to defend yourself, whether you're human or an alien, and it'll just be a comedy of errors. I think it'll be a great party game.
Gives me Fake Artist Goes to New York vibes.
Yeah, but with like word game, associations. Absolutely. Totally human.
Very nice. Mine is a game that I'm interested to see if they actually are going to have this available at Gencon to look at. It is the new Everdell game, Journeys. What's interesting to me is it's completely different than any of their other games.
Which are all kind of similar.
They all are similar. Yeah, then that's what I will say it's a good or bad thing. I kind of don't mind some of them more than others. I think their Immerland is probably the very best one they've done. It is really well done. This, on the other hand, just handles things very differently. So basically, there's not a whole lot of information on it, but it's almost like you're going on an adventure. So basically, you have these adventure cards that you set out, and sort of like in other games where your adventure goes through every single card, kind of like, I guess, Wingspan or Finspan, that kind of idea where you set out your tableau, it goes across. There's that kind of element to it.
Okay.
But it's this is a playthrough. I found a playthrough from the Dice Tower that kind of went through part of it, where it's just you're creating this really interesting tableau, but your adventurer goes through all of it and gets resources and like abilities, and there's like the story. So it's kind of a story-driven game.
I like it.
But it is a lot different. The artwork is really cool, but a very different take on how they usually do their stuff. I think the thing that really got me interested on it is all the feedback that so far I've seen is it's really, really cool and it's very different. Same kind of feel, I guess, but just how it's implemented is very different than any of the other Everdell games. So I'm interested. Everyone's really thought it looks really pretty. It's got a really cool vibe. So I'm just not sure if they probably will have it at least somewhere, hopefully, to check out. But that is Journeys. Everdell Journeys. I'm interested. I think it's just called Everdell Journey, I think is what it's called.
It is giving me a little bit
Journeys.
Of quest line vibes with the card layout.
Actually, that's a good point, actually. It might be, yeah, I just don't know enough about it to validate. I think on board game, and that's the problem. Like, here's one of the cards. He looks
good
trashed.
Old Honey Paw.
Oh yeah, he's got a bunch of beer steins. He's like, bro, I'm good. And there's like stories on every card and some kind of like. But yeah, Tim, I think you are correct. It does kind of have that vibe with. But even the iconography is completely different. I don't know. It's got a cool look. So I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Cool.
But that is Everdell Journeys. Back to you.
My next one will be really quick because it actually has been out all year long, but it's worth mentioning because it's a great game. James can no longer say I played it wrong because I have played it many times since then. This is Market Fresh. They have chucked this at every convention you can possibly imagine as a play to win. And every convention I go to, I have played it. So to try to win it, at this point, I might just buy it, which is the reason why I'm actually showcasing it on this preview, because if you go to Gen Con, it is definitely a game worth checking out. The real quick and dirty, it's an Avalon Hill game. The quick and dirty is you're going to be picking up these little dominoes essentially, but the dominoes are like, we got carrots on one side and onions on the other. And it looks like these little vegetable produce baskets that you're picking up, but effectively it's dominoes if you can't picture it any other way. And you're going to be stacking them on your little 5x5 grid. The caveat is if you stack it on top of another domino or a pre-printed icon, it has to match at least half the domino, right? So if you put it on top of carrots and an apple, at least the carrot or apple has to match, but the other symbol does not. But if you do match it, you get a market fresh and it gives you 5 extra points. And once you place a tile, then you say one of the 2 things you just placed. So if you put down carrots, you say, or carrots and an apple, you can say carrots, and then you count how many carrots are visible top down on your board. And then you're going to move a marker onto that, that track for the carrots. And so like if you said carrots and you had 4 carrots, you would put your marker on the carrot track at the number 4. You keep playing the game until all the tiles are gone. And then at the end of the game, whoever is the highest on each of the different fruit and vegetable tracks or whatever, so like carrots, you get double the points. So if you're watching the video on the pairs, whoever the blue player is, they have 5 pairs. They're on the top. They would actually get 10 points. The next person down on the pairs would get the points that's listed. And then the third place would just get 2. And you do that for everything. Then you get points for having the most like icons out there. So it's a very pointy game where you're getting points for everything. But at the same time, like the puzzle aspect of placing the baskets is awesome.
It looks good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a fun little game.
It feels great when you're playing it.
All right.
So
have you played it more than 2 players?
I have not, which
Okay,
makes it even crazier because I've played it a ton 2 players. It's a very, very great 2-player game, but I can just imagine 3 and 4 players being even better because it changes nothing you do, but the market part's more contested.
Yeah, that's what
when you play a 2-player, what was the length? About 40 minutes, give or take?
Yeah, actually it's probably, the box is probably saying how much it is with 2 players. I believe I actually wrote it down.
It looks cool though. It looks like a fun little game. So
no, I didn't keep track.
Do you jump your opponent on the market track, or can you end up on top of them?
No, you can't end up on top of them. You have to take the next spot that's available below them. So you have to have a clear majority if you're able to, if you want to get above them. So
yeah. Interesting. Looks cool though.
Yeah, market fresh. Great 2-player game. I imagine it's better with more. I will buy it and find out.
Okay. What I do like is they didn't just print the stuff on the tiles. It actually has a 3D kind of effect.
Yeah, it's like a little toy.
Yeah, it was a nice little, like, I like little things.
They're
like
plastic.
That. I'm very tactile.
Yeah, that's really nice. It's well done.
Yeah. And they're little miniatures, just like
yeah, you can add them on your shelfie.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll do it. I'm not scared.
The next room over from your shelfie.
Me with a good time
in the kitchen.
So my next game it's now the beginning of the ones I'm really excited about getting or looking at, and this one is Mountain Goats Legacy. Now this one I did back on Kickstarter, and I am getting this Saturday. But Mountain Goats, I don't know I assume you've all played Mountain Goats. If you haven't,
great game. I'm looking forward to the other one you're going to mention.
My wife will have to talk to you because I'd say if I had made her do a top 10 game list, this would be on it, Mountain Goats. She loves this. She loves introducing this to people. It's more as King of the Hill with dice rolling game, and you're trying to get your goats up to the top, and that's how you score your points. Once you get to the top, you start pulling point tiles. And then if you get a complete set, you can pull from the highest point tiles on the right there. And it's just, you keep going until I think 2 or 3 of the point tiles have been depleted. And it's just a fun little game. It's really quick dice rolling game where you're trying to get up the top. And if there's somebody at the top, you knock them off and they go back to the bottom. So you're trying to go up the side. It goes from 5 to 10. And as you notice, the 8, 9s, and 10s are very short because they're harder to get. And so I know she doesn't know I'm getting this yet. So she's not big on legacy games, but we'll see on this one. Hopefully she'll like this one. But that's the main reason I'm excited about it, because I know she'll like it, my wife. And anytime she likes a game, that's good for me, because then we're playing games. So that's always a positive. And I like Mountain Goats. It's a good time. It's not that heavy. It's an all play game again. And,
it gives me a can't stop vibes.
Now, if I can get rid of the share screen bar, I'll show you that. This is actually, I'm mixing this in with a different one. I'm also pulling up, hold on here. I'm sorry. They don't have if you put this into Board Game Geek, you'll just pull up normal Mountain Goats, but tiny Mountain Goats. This one is just a very tiny version of mountain goats. I've just explained mountain goats, and so to me this would be easier if it's playable. I don't know if it's too small or not, but it'd be good for traveling. If you're going somewhere, you can just put it in your pocket and go. As in too small, my big hot dog fingers.
It says so tiny, so cute.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can put it on a shelfie. Let's go.
So this is just more or less a tiny epic version of mountain goats. It's just a tiny version of mountain goats, travel version, and I'm looking forward to that. I once we start getting traveling again, I definitely would bring this. It's easier. It's not taking up much space. As you see, it's on the picture here. They put one of the little mountain goats on it looks like a mechanical pencil, so it's very tiny.
I wonder how small it is because so Mountain Goats comes in this standard little 4-inch by 4-inch box that
it's
a lot
tiny.
of their
it's
games
small enough already.
But then this box, how tiny is it? Is it smaller than say like Soda Jerk? Those really small.
Yeah,
or is this like guessing, a deck of cards?
I'm guessing it's like if you don't know Golden Goal, that's a very tiny. That's like it's like that. And that
is that the soccer game they just came out with?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm imagining.
That's like the Soda Jerk size.
Right.
It's like All Play has 3 box sizes. If it doesn't fit, they don't.
Right.
It looks like it's the size of like their Grunts box.
No, like Grunts is like how big the Mountain Goats is.
Oh yeah,
right.
I wonder if it's like a 10. That would be hilarious.
No, I think it's just a little box. But I mean, I definitely want to see this before I buy this one, the tiny Mountain Goats, to make sure it's not too tiny for, like I said, my fingers.
My only concern would be like all the components sound good, but I do want to roll normal size dice, which would be the only thing that I would be kind of about.
It looks like they might be normal size dice.
They do. So it must be like the little Soda Jerk box, which is funny because like normal Mountain Goats isn't a huge box, but this can fit in a purse.
The box makes me laugh. Like the artwork on it.
That one, the tiny one, yeah.
Like,
but yeah, I definitely am pumped about this one, especially Mountain Goats Legacy. Want to try to get that to the table. Hopefully she'll like that one. It's just like I said, it's Mountain Goats, but Legacy version. And yeah, so that is Mountain Goats Legacy and Tiny Mountain Goats.
Sounds
now
great.
On to you, George.
So the next one for me. This is the Glasgow train robbery.
I got it right.
Yeah. And this is a game that I'm so intrigued by because it's a 2-player cooperative, very challenging cooperative game where you have limited communication, extremely limited communication. There are 2 criminals that are conducting the robbery. And they're not in the same location. One of them is back in the safe house, and one of them is actually at the train station. And you have to coordinate what you're doing and communicate by your actions in the game. You're not able to tell each other, okay, I'm going to do this, which means this, or I know this, which is why I'm doing this. You have to puzzle it out between the 2 of you. And so you're basically creating your own language out of logistics as the game goes on, which is kind of incredible. I cannot wait to give this a try. You have all of these moving parts that need to be figured out. There's also like random events that can come out and cause complications and things. But it's based on a real train robbery that took place in 1963. It wasn't. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it. Anyway. It's a hard game.
I'm not going to spoil something from 1963.
Yeah. So it's gonna be just a really cool experience for 2 players to go through that process together and try to piece what it is that they want from extremely limited communication in a high tension situation as the train is approaching, and you've got to get all these things to line up in a certain way in order to pull it off without leaving too much evidence behind. And in addition to that, the art style is really cool. It looks good to me. The Glasgow train robbery.
I like it. Mine is a game that everybody has probably already seen, but Elementary. I can't wait till this thing comes out. The Kickstarter just started. What's cool about it is, and then people have been kind of keeping up with it, they had to redo a bunch of their dice because the iconography was weird, but they are actually doing these little miniature lunchboxes. So if you buy the normal version, there are these little, like, I'm trying to find a picture, these little lunch screen walls. They look like lunch boxes that sit in front of you. So you're doing your little bidding stuff behind it. But if you pay for the more advanced version, then you'll also get the upgraded little lunch boxes that are metal to put your dice in and be like, oh, what you got for lunch? That kind of thing. Hilarious.
Okay.
Dude,
I have a question about this.
Yes.
So with the little lunch boxes there, the idea is you roll the dice into the lunchbox. It's not that you close the lunchbox and shake it up, because it doesn't look big enough to really move the dice around that way.
Yeah, you can put the dice and shake it up if you want.
I think it looks a little.
I'll roll them in it. Yeah, it's totally fine.
It'll just be loud.
It'll be loud. And most time you would probably roll them into it. But you're doing the bidding and you're creating your like lunch table. But I want to give Little Lantern a whole lot of credit. Their upgrades are hilarious. They have like sticker packs, which is awesome. The way that everything gets compressed into the same box is brilliantly designed. And the box actually doesn't look ridiculous like some games I won't mention. And but it's really
twice
crazy.
The size.
Yeah, you get a free dice tower every time. There's limited sticker packs. What was interesting, I love their theme for the solo. That's the teacher board, and it looks like a recess area. It's just so many cute thematic ideas in this game.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. So fantastic.
I agree. This one looks really great,
and it's only been out for 2 days on Kickstarter, and it's it's over 250,000.
Oh, that's nice.
So
it'll be demo. It'll be demo at Gencon.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because I talked to them 2 days ago, and he said they will hopefully have the production copies or sample copies of the lunch boxes in like another week. So they probably will have those to look at while we're there. Because when I saw him at Origins, he said they couldn't do it. And since then, he's like, we finally found a place that could actually manufacture them for a cost that's reasonable. That was their issue. And that's Elementary by Little Lantern. Back to you, Tim.
My dear. I've got two more for mine, other than an honorable mention, so I'll make them quick. But this one I saw at Gamma. This is Misfit Heroes. Very excited by this one. It is a tableau building game in which the deck is always different, because I think it's at the end of the game when you're taking stuff apart or whatever. It's one of those games where you have a card and then you put one of those see-through cards. I don't know what they're made out of. But like custom heroes or whatever, where you can, or like the old game Hecatomb. So you have a like a modifier card that will go into a sleeve with another card, and so it makes one card. And you do this for all the cards in the deck. So each time you play the game, like you can play it a few times, and then next time you can unsleeve everything, re-sleeve everything back, and you have a completely different layout of everything. And so it will change like what abilities are paired up with other abilities, like an attribute and an ability, how much it costs to buy the card, all these different things. And you're playing these cards in front of you. There's different actions you can take. I won't get into how the game is actually played, but you're doing the abilities to get resources, and you're using the resources to buy these tiles that are out in the middle of the board. And it tells you how many of that resource you need to buy the tile. And then, when the game ends, you just count up all your points or whatever, and whoever has the most is the winner. So I don't think it's anything revolutionary as far as what is going on as a tableau builder. But at the same time, the way the game is put together is so unique that, if you think of something's too powerful, you just re-sleeve it with some other card. And then maybe that game, you're going to think these cards are more powerful. So everything is ever changing, and it keeps it fresh, right? So you're going to see a lot of the stuff in the game. And, if you kind of look closely, like one card's called Clawed Ghost, right? So that's the combination, right? Ghost has an ability or whatever that gets added onto this clawed card, and it makes a clawed ghost, or this spider guard. And so it has these tentacles behind the guard. But maybe that guard's a dragon next time. So he's a dragon guard, and he has different powers and such. So
you could have a clawed guard and a ghost spider.
That is true. The only thing I worry about, which is fine. I mean, obviously you don't have to go into board games thinking how can this game stay competitive. It'll be fresh to where, if somebody's saying, oh, this, when you play another game, they're like, oh, go for this strategy because it's for sure the winning strategy, right? I think this is going to be really hard to determine that because every game could be different based on how the card layout is. And you don't know how these are built because you're randomizing them. So it's not like you're building them on purpose. Super cool, super light, but at the same time, very unique and fresh. Custom Heroes is a great game, but that's like a trick taker. And I always like the idea of games where you can modify a card by slotting something else in, like Hecatomb. Man, that was a great CCG back in the day. So anyway, that is Misfit Heroes.
Yeah, I like Custom Heroes and Ruins, which is a re-implementation of Custom Heroes a lot. So definitely looking forward to that one. My next one, I think I share with somebody, and that is Forest Shuffle.
Oh, yeah.
The Smoky Mountains.
You share it with me.
Okay. I didn't know for sure. I know 2 of you were crapping on it earlier, but
not me. This got an otter.
Just kidding.
I like got an otter on the front of the box.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I just don't need 8 versions of Monopoly. Keep going.
The Forest Shuffle is great. It's a great point salad game.
It is a good game.
You're putting trees out and you're putting animals around the trees. The difference here I can see, I mean, another spoiler, I'm playing this currently on Board Game Arena. They have it there. And the big difference I can see is that you can add rivers below the trees, and that allows you to add fish into the rivers. But overall, it's pretty much the same as any Forest Shuffle, just got Smoky Mountain animals and trees, which is closer to us anyway, so that we know probably all of us have been to the Smoky Mountains here. And so it's Forest Shuffle. I mean,
it could have been an expansion.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's probably.
No, I kind of like the idea it's separate because this starts muddying which one you add it to, and they completely.
I think they just did it poorly. If they would have, I think they made Forest Shuffle. They had no intent for it to be blown up, right? They had no idea. It blew up. They didn't know how to add in, and I don't mean to insult any of the designers, but this is how I feel. They added in all these expansions. It dilutes everything. They could have easily made it modular, where like add this, this, and this. Shuffle up. Now you got a game. Here comes a new expansion. Add these things, but take out this stuff. Only choose certain things, rather than having to be like, well, which version of Forest Shuffle do you want to buy or not buy, but play? If it was just expansions that you could choose, oh, let's put this in here and put this in here and put this in here. I don't know.
But it wouldn't make a lot of sense to just throw in a black bear with a bog pony.
Correct.
I didn't know there was a theme. No, I was kidding.
Yeah,
it's animals. Who cares?
But I mean, then you're getting into Imperial Settlers land where that's kind of what turned us off on it because you added all those expansions. But now you're like, well, you've got to choose these. You got to take so many cards out, and it's just got too much. It's like let's just play the game normally.
And it wouldn't make much sense to have Egyptians taking on Inuit.
Right.
Well, I'm just saying, like if you had, like almost like a smash up style. Where you have like 20 decks, but you only take 8 of them and it makes the deck. And then next time you take these 8 and then random, you know what I mean? Because then they could just infinitely come out with expansions. And anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll definitely be getting this. You can add some more, George, since it's on your list too.
Yeah, no, I will be getting this as well. And the other thing that is coming out at Gen Con that's a Forest Shuffle thing that I'm really excited about is an expansion to the Dartmoor Forest Shuffle. And this one is called Exmoor. So it's just increasing the variety in that environment. So it's making it basically equal. The original Forest Shuffle, then you had the expansions that, as Tim said, watered it down. Well, now the Dartmoor will be just as watered down, and it'll be compatible.
No, I 100% agree with that because it almost needs to be like these sets of cards should be taken out and replaced with this if you insert it. Because there were to be fair, the first one had some pretty broken combos. That's for sure.
So who here goes back and plays the original Forest Shuffle?
As far as
I play it on BGA a lot.
We play it.
Tim,
but you usually play a game. How many games do you think you've probably played more than 5 times?
A crazy amount of them because I have an app that tells me this.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
My H index is like 25.
I meant more recently. Like,
no, I play them a lot. I've played Forest Shuffle more than a dozen times. And that's just the original. And I played Dartmoor a few times.
Yeah.
And to me, it just seems like, I don't know. I guess to me, it just seems like I'm rebuying version, not even 2.0. It's like 1.6. Here comes patch 1.7. And it's like, it sucks because I genuinely think that Forest Shuffle is a great game. It just seems like I get annoyed when, like in computer games, if you get a patch to a game that adds more to it, you have the same game and it just adds content. Where the board game, it's like, here's the second version of the game. You have to rebuy it. And I guess it doesn't replace the original, but to your point, you're saying they had some brokenness and stuff. So in reality, it does replace it because Forest Shuffle had some problems if you're playing it super competitive. And this stuff adds more cool things to it. It just seems like, I don't know, there's a better way to do it than just coming out with 5 different versions of a base game. And that's slightly different.
I just want to point out Tim had Carcassonne Labyrinth on his list.
That makes no sense. That is absolutely not the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just another version. They put out like 4 or 5 different versions of
Carcassonne Labyrinth doesn't play anything like Carcassonne. And it doesn't. It's combining 2 different games into one. I see what you're trying to get. Thou who
I don't mind.
Cascadia version 2 and Forest Shuffle version 3.
It's kind of a tricky one because it's like for some people it's like I like the game. I kind of wish I had new cards, maybe different abilities, but I kind of like the way it plays and the whole idea.
Right.
So it's like, I'm cool with a game. It kind of goes that route and does like that. Because if it changes it too much, it's not really the game that I love. It's now a new game. Will I actually like the new game as much? I don't know.
Yeah, so I think
it's like it's a catch-22 because it's like if you change it too much, you can't call it Forest Shuffle. You might as well call it something completely different because the game isn't even the same.
Yeah, it's a proven model.
Worked. It works for especially these because you can just go, all right, guys, here's how this game is played. You do this, blah, 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 and you read what's on the cards and you just react what you have. You can explain it in like literally 60 seconds to someone, which is surprising for how complicated the damn scoring can become.
Yes.
But now I've seen that they have a camera app where you can actually take pictures of it and just score it that way, which is so much easier.
Just play it online at that point. I don't know. I like the analog, like,
I'm tactile. I can't help it.
I like the analog. Figure it out yourself. Like if you need somebody to take a picture and it's like, tell me how much points I got. I mean, it's cool if you want to be speedy, but at the same time, it's much speedy. Cooler. It's
I do
so
it 20 some odd
times.
I don't care to do it again. And because I usually have to help the other people do it too, where I'm like, hey, let's just go through. And then because we're going to play it again right afterwards.
Well, to each their own.
But speaking of that, I mean, the Fantasy Realms it's almost a requirement to have the app, the scoring app.
What? No way. That's such an easy game to score. Such an easy game to score.
Oh.
You need to have your degree in calculus before. No, I'm just kidding.
I will say, Forest Shuffle is a harder game to score than Fantasy Realms.
I would agree with that,
but more satisfying.
I probably agree with that.
Actually, good 30-second answer, Tim. What do you think is the most complex game that you played to score?
That's not a 30-second answer. I'd have to think about that. And we don't have time on the podcast. You know what? We'll think about that. Well, maybe we'll do a top 10 most complicated scoring games. I don't know. But here's the thing: there's not really that many complicated scoring. It just
take a while.
If there's a lot of things happening at one time, like Forest Shuffle isn't complicated to score. You just do it systematically. It's like this card, and how many things you can't really, if you do it the systematically way that it says in the rule book, you can't mess anything up.
No, it just takes
unless you just don't know how to add. But like, it's not like, oh, I forgot about this rule, where it's like, every 2 gold is a point, that's like more more forgotten than, reading off a card in front of you. Anyway, we can have all those discussion on, that'd be an interesting topic. We're going to have a topic about reprints, second editions and all that crap and talk about it, even though we basically just did. So
Forest Shuffle rules. All right. So my next one, I'll save us a little bit of time because we've talked about this quite a bit already on our podcast. It is Hell of a Deal. which is a hell of a game, I think, and it's going to be at Gencon. It's going to be
I see what you did there.
A poker cooperative go up as a team against the devil and his minions, but with a 1930s style artwork. It's gorgeous. It's poker. Poker's fun. This looks fun.
It's Texas Hold'em.
It'll be great. It'll be a great game. Hell of a deal. Look for that one.
Cool.
I like it. I approve of this message. What am I going to talk about next? Let's find out.
Oh, jeez.
I don't even know what I'm talking about. Let's find out. How about Drillers? Yeah, sounds like a good one. Drillers is a new game from CGE. It's going to be available for purchase at Gen Con, where you get little drilling things, drill through the ground, collect stuff. I don't know. Most people have seen a little bit about it, but it's CGE. So obviously the artwork is badass because their team actually does all the internal artwork. It's really well done. Thematically, it's really cool. It's got dual layer boards, which I love dual layer boards, but I don't know. It just looks like a fun game. So I will be.
Is this built after a video game, or is it just its own thing?
It's a unique IP.
It really feels like a video game, or could be a video game.
Yeah,
the style and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not silly enough for that.
That's true.
Yeah, your
little mind thing doesn't swell up when it like.
I like this one's on my list too. It's. I'm not as excited to see it. I wanted to see it, and I'd walked past it at Origins a bunch of times. I was like, man, I really want to, get a demo of that game, and I just couldn't get to it. And doesn't it have like a push your luck element also? Trying to go down. You're trying to go down to the mine.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but
it's come back up.
Yeah, you're trying to go as far as you can and then return, build up your things so you go and collect more stuff. So
right, so you're trying to mitigate how much fuel you'll have, and as you go down, and so some turns are just trying to pump up your fuel and other stuff instead of actually drilling down.
Yeah,
so it looks pretty interesting.
It looks fun. I think. I don't remember. 1:00 on Sunday on Gen Con. I'm going to do a playthrough. So I don't know. Looks fun. Drillers.
Let us know how it goes.
I will.
I'm going to stick with Super Motherload personally.
I like Super Motherload. I got a quick honorable mention real quick. I said quick twice. This is a Rappa Mine and a Rappa Space. I'm looping these two in together. They were a little harder to find unless you bought them early on when they came out. One came out last year, 24. The other one came out last year at 25. But they are coming them or showcasing them at Gen Con. These are great little deduction games. I don't quite know all the differences with Space as opposed to Mine, but they're essentially the same game where they work really good with two players. But if you're playing more than that, it kind of has different rules. But you have these shapes that you're putting on a grid, and then the other players are trying to deduce where the shapes are. So they have a little sheet of paper that's a grid, and they're trying to draw where they think those shapes are. And the way they do that is they say a number and letter. So if I say D7 on the example that I'm showing you here, it will go across from D to hit a white triangle. But because it hits it at an angle, it will go up and hit red and then come back out D. So the line goes in, goes up, hits a flat surface, and goes back the same path it took. And so as the player that you're telling this to, they have to tell you, what is that, pink, I think? They tell you a color.
Yeah.
Then they say pink. And so you know that it had to have hit white and red, and you're trying to figure out on your board where that can be. And so you're listening to other players ask the same clues and send things in and trying to deduce this, and whoever guesses it, I think you get 2 attempts. Space is basically the same game. It comes with a little cooler components, although arguably it looks a little rougher because the angles are harder to judge. But, because even though it's a circle planet, it's actually more angles, just like the original shapes. So I don't know. I might just stick with the Mine, but that's a Rappa Mine in Space. James, is there anything unique about Space?
No, I think it's just the planets, just how they're curved instead of just angular. And the only reason I got Space is because I bought Space a while back. I haven't played it yet, actually. And because I couldn't find a Rappa Mine, it wasn't available yet. I don't know. I still don't remember how I got the space one. I think I got it through Amazon, so I don't know how I got it. But I mean, I've played Up of Mine 16 times on BGA. I love that game. And I mean, Tim, if you want to fire up a game, that'd be good. But yeah, because I mean, I love the deduction, trying to puzzle out where these stupid pieces are on this board based on where the exit is and the colors. And I think you can add different, like there's like a mini modules you can add to it. Like there's a clear piece and maybe a black one that will destroy the light or something. I don't remember. It gets really
crazy. It gets really complicated and hard to deduce if you add the extra stuff, but it is such a great game. So check those out if you never heard of them. Great, or play them on BGA. Anyway, that's a wrap of mine and a wrap of space.
So we're doing honorable mentions?
Yeah.
I'm not going to share a screen here. I'm just going to talk about mine. I just have two quick ones. Ringio, which is coming out, I can't remember when. But the main one is, I've brought this up before, is Class of 89. I'm told by somebody, insider here, that it might come out later this year, but I would love to demo this thing just to see if it's a game I would like. It's Class of 89, since that is my class that when I graduated high school. That's the main reason. And you're trying to, I think, build a yearbook is what the theme is. And that's just, and Ringio, that is Paverson Games, their latest, if I'm correct.
That's correct.
And I wasn't ready for the honorable mentions. I'm sorry. So that one, it looks very interesting. And I'm pretty much like most of their games that they put out. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And that's my honorable mentions. On to you, George.
All right. Well, my honorable mention, I wasn't really prepared with an honorable mention, but I'll just throw one out there that, I think we've mentioned it already. And it's Emmerland, Everdell Emmerland. That's one that I'd like to see. So we've
You'll
talked
like
about
it. It's really good.
I'm definitely going to buy that eventually.
We're going to go
behind me somewhere.
George, what's your next game though?
Okay, sure. My next game is going to be, Prague Unseen. And I have seen it. I've played it. It's so good. It's so good. This is another one coming from Capstone, and I get to play a lot of these Capstone ones pretty early on. And this one is my favorite of them. It is a game where there's this overarching game where you're building up the city of Prague, but you have these 4 factions that all have their own little mini games that you're doing as you play, and it's so satisfying. It's just, I don't know, I can't really describe much of it in terms of why I like it so much, but it's got this sort of mythical background with these 4 mini games, and then the larger game where your worker placement, and it's got that sort of thing where if you do things properly, you can end up getting more actions for yourself. So the number of turns you get in the game is determined by what you end up doing. And you feel so clever when it comes together. And there's so many ways to get points. I said 4. There's actually 5 mini games going on.
So is it unique mini games to each player?
No. You're all involved in the mini games. Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking of, what's that game where it's like a merchant game where you're like
Merchant Cove. It seems like from
what
I read,
it's not unique. No,
George, it's like if you worker place in this neighborhood, like the brown neighborhood or orange neighborhood, you worker placement there, but then you also get to do something with the mini game, like move things around or
and
go around a clock.
You have these 4 workers, and the kind of worker that you use in that neighborhood is going to determine like the strength of, the action that you get to do. If you use a certain kind in a certain neighborhood, it'll give you a bonus. And if you go where the witch is, it'll give you a bonus as well. So, but you have your own agenda of what you want to accomplish. So there's all these competing interests as to which worker you end up sending to which neighborhood. Because once you're in the neighborhood, you get to do the minigame, but then you also get to visit a place in the neighborhood. And the players are building the cards into the neighborhoods. They're creating more worker spots. Oh, it's so clever.
Interesting.
So good. Yeah. So heavy. And I still like it.
I think that is my the one I'm most excited about. But after Brian, I'll show you the last one that I have. But that is the one I
like the artwork too. Yeah. I like the way they decided to do this like watercolor kind of effect to differentiate the different areas, which I thought was pretty clever.
Yeah, it does have great artwork, I think.
And the screen, and as Tim said, screened Meeples is always a good thing. The screen Meeples look really cool, like the bat one and stuff. Those look pretty cool.
And there's some kind of strange like prog factions, like some sort of mythical goat people, and I don't know.
Interesting. It's got some steampunk looking stuff going on too.
Yeah,
but you can ignore that.
Oh, I love that steampunk, dude. All right, Brian, let's do you. Do you got any more, or are you good?
I'll quickly just say, there's a game called I'm not going to share a screen, but there's a game coming out called Threaded, and basically it is sort of like games like Knitting Circle kind of idea, but it's based on needlepoint. There's a couple friends of ours that do needlepoint, and I think they would actually really enjoy the game thematically because of the way it looks. Definitely something I think it's either coming out at Gencon or it's right around that time frame. That one is going to be really cool, so I'm pretty interested on that. And then the Class of '89 at Gencon has a lot of events where you could sign up and do the events, but I think I talked to Dave, and he said all of them are all full, but if you go to his table, he can kind of do we're going to do a rundown of it and see where it's currently at. So Class of '89 is another one I'm actually pretty excited about because there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek, tons of 80s references that all the characters you could pick out. There's even stuff that's not 80s but current, like even Mr. Shu from like Glee. There's a character that looks like him that's in there. There's the Heathers that are in there. So there's a lot of like references that people will get.
All right, well, I'm going to go through the last one for me, and that is Realm of Reckoning. This is an Ivy Studio game, so obviously the production is going to be through the roof. The artwork's going to be amazing. The gameplay is going to be hopefully good. So far, like a lot of the Ivy Studio games, the gameplay is good. I think production value is their strong point. I think the games are doing really good stuff, but at the same time, I think sometimes it's not a lot of things new. But here, however, it looks really neat. So it gives me Blood Rage vibes, where you have this board in which you're playing cards to put meeples out essentially in these different areas. But what's interesting is I don't think there's really ways to score yet. And so there's like at the end of an era, like this scoring card gets contested over, and whoever wins gets to put a monument out, which I believe are these little white things around the edge. So this is probably late in the game if you're watching the video. And when you put it out, you get to pick where it goes. So if you win the ability to put the monument out, you get to choose how scoring works. So it might be like, control this many areas, or do, get, have all this stuff, or whatever the different things are. And so there's just you can kind of control, how the game is being played based on getting the monuments out earlier, because the monuments, the earlier in the game they're out, the more times they're going to trigger for scoring. So it's not just at the end of the game. From what I understand, it's going to trigger multiple times. In as the game goes on, another monument comes out, that one's not going to score as many times, and then the next monument's not going to score as many. And so you can kind of control what people might shift what they're doing just based on how the monuments come out, and dictate the scoring metrics, or if you will. But everything looks great. It's one of those games that has a black board, which is hard to do, and they pull it off really well because they have such pops of colors with the meeples and such that go out there. So anyway, that's Realm of
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I was looking into it. I like the way that randomly these special reckoning cards then come out. Yeah. Now you're basically doing your secret bidding right there, and like, okay, so you don't really know when it's going to happen.
Right.
Which the more I've looked into it, this is
There's
cool.
I mean, far more to the game than what I talked about. Yeah. I just topical with it. So,
but Ivy Studios nails design. So
they do.
Okay.
James, you got one more?
One more. I'll try to make it real quick here. It is a game I was very fortunate to play already. So that's probably why it's top on my list of anticipated games. It's Ants by Capstone Games. I feel like MeepleCore has been sponsored by Capstone Games here. We've mentioned them so many times, but they just put out great games. Yeah. And this is in the same universe of Rats of Wistar, and it's just one of those ones where the main board, you're building out your ants in a like ants do in a line as they go along in your colony of ants, and you're using that to pick up resources and such to be able to play these multi-use cards, and you're playing out your cards, and then you're also trying to build your colony on your own personal board. And it's just one of those really heavy games that I like. It's a Euro game and it's the same artwork as Rats of Wistar. And I think it's actually, in my opinion, I like it better than Rats of Wistar. It just has a better flow to it, in my opinion.
I'll agree with you there.
Yeah, and it's just more fun. It's one of those ones that jokingly shaking my fist at my friend when he takes the in-game scoring thing. I was trying to get my ants to be able to pick up first, but he got there first. But it's just one of those ones, and at the end you're just comboing, putting all these ants out, which are represented by little disc. And they go around this board. There's a bunch of rules, and it's just right up my alley. And this game, I've got it. It's on pre-order, so hopefully I'll be getting it soon, so I can get it out and play it again, because it was just such a good time. And that's Ants.
Yeah, that is a fantastic game. Really, really good. Yeah.
Back to you, Tim.
So,
well, kind of back to George. You got one last one, right, George?
I've got one last one.
Okay.
One last one. It is Viking Route. And this is a evolution of a game that I've enjoyed for a long time called The Faceless. And in this one,
now that I looked at the pictures.
The Faceless was a cooperative game. This one is as well, but The Faceless was quite short, unfortunately. And this one takes the concepts from that and expands it into this large campaign game where you can play several scenarios in a row, if you like, through to the end. You are these heroes that are aboard a Viking Drakkar ship, and the Drakkar is represented by a compass that's on the board that you're playing. And so the compass is influenced by these three Odins that are magnets. These three ravens, that are magnets. Odin has sent his ravens to help guide you on your course. And the magnets actually influence the compass, of course. And that determines where your ship sails. So you move these ravens around in order to change your course. And the goddess of wind is another magnet that's actually on the board that moves around. I think it's not the goddess of wind, it's like the fates or something like that. But anyway, something like that. It's the interplay of all these magnets that you have to figure out and decide what you're going to do before you move any of the ravens. On your turn, you move a raven, and if you manage to figure out what the magnetic effect that will have on the compass correctly, then you'll actually go where you want to go. And that is so cool. That is so fun. And in this one, you also have to worry not just about where you're going, which is what was in the Faceless, but in this one, you also have to worry about sort of getting resources and fighting off all these monsters that you'll encounter, because there's just a lot more going on in these scenarios. And I'm really excited to see all these Norse foes and story elements come together and make it into a longer, larger game that I think it'll be brilliant. Viking Route.
Cool. Is that it? We're wrapped up. Brian, you good? Or do you got any more, Brian?
Yeah, I have one. It was one I wasn't sure if I was going to cover because I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway.
All right, we'll finish with this. We'll finish with this.
So there's a game coming out from AG, I think. Yeah, called Electrify. And basically the way this game works is it's like steampunk land. And more or less what you're doing is you're building these different steampunk engines. You just found electricity through solar. And it's sort of like a action combo type of game, I think is what I can kind of gather from it. I just thought it looked interesting. Like kind of had a cool, like kind of vibe, kind of style to it. And I like stuff that you can chain multiple combos against each other. So okay. I don't really know much about it, but I'm going to at least check it out while I'm there and see. I think it doesn't come out until next year, but I think they're doing a release at Gencon, at least to kind of talk about it.
I had this up and I basically did enough research for games to talk about and this short list for me, but it looked really cool just from the artwork.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Most of the other stuff I've already talked about. So either way, that's me.
All right, cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you see us or whatever at Gencon, feel free to say hi. Actually, hold on. George and James, you're all not going?
No.
Well, if you see Brian or me,
yeah.
If you see me or Brian at Gencon, say hi. Feel free to email us or, tell us what you think or comment below if you're watching the video. We will return after Gencon to do a post Gencon recap of our experiences at Gencon and talk about some of the games we did play that was on this list. And maybe we'll be surprised if we end up hating some of the games we picked, or maybe we're got more excited, or whatever the case is. And that will be after Gencon. So stay tuned for that. But we want to wrap this episode up. So we want to thank you again for tuning into episode 167 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. This episode was recorded on July 16th, 2026. Please send questions and comments to meeplecore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on your favorite social media platforms and check out the video versions of the show on youtube.com/MeepleCore. Until next time, this is Tim, Jennette, the Mental Meeple.
George Breden.
James Fitzgerald.
Brian Jennette.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.